Right, so Crimson Desert just launched, and oh boy, the reviews for one were all over the place. You had scores ranging from 100 all the way down to 45. But I've been playing it, and I'm about 6-7 hours in on the PS5 Pro, and I'm still in the first bloody town. This game is brilliant, it's challenging, and it's absolutely massive. But there's some stuff you need to know before you drop your money on it, so let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk performance first, because I know that is what everyone's worried about after those reviews dropped. So on the PS5 Pro, performance mode runs at a pretty steady 60 FPS about 90% of the time. You do get some dips in the town, but nothing too major, nothing that ruins the experience. Now, here is a bit of a tip. Go into your console settings and disable 120Hz. I had it on and the game looked grainy, like really bad. So once I turned it off, it was way better. I believe that is a known bug right now. So if I was you, go into your console settings and just get that turned off. In the game settings, I also turned off depth of field completely and motion blur all the way down to 0. And I also adjusted the gamma because that just made the game look way better for me. There is some slight pop-in as you're moving around, but nothing terrible, nothing to be like, oh my god, this is unplayable. The balanced and quality modes are there, but they range from like 30 to 40 FPS, and honestly, that is a no-go for me, because anything lower than 60 FPS does have the tendency to give me headaches, so to avoid that, I just like to run on performance mode all of the time. One weird thing I noticed though, is that sometimes it looks like there's a noise reduction filter on your character and NPC clothes and faces, which is a bit odd. You kind of have to go up close. You have to tweak the camera a bit, and then everything just comes back in, and the filter just disappears. So I don't really know what's going on there. But if you're on the base consoles and you absolutely need locked 60 FPS all the time, you ain't going to get that. So I would definitely say wait for more patches. But other than that, if you're not too bothered and 30 or 40 FPS doesn't really bother you at all, and you don't mind a bit of jankiness and jarring, well, absolutely go for it. The game's fun as hell. But if you're on PS5 Pro like me, this runs really well once you make those tweaks. Now moving on to combat, and the combat in this game, it feels really fluid, almost like playing Assassin's Creed in its RPG era, and I love Assassin's Creed and I love the RPG games, so for me, absolutely perfect. The moves tie together really well, you feel powerful, but there's so much to learn and unlock. This is definitely a combat system that rewards your time investment, so do not fear, definitely just keep plucking away, unlocking some new moves, and it will feel like you're being rewarded. The bow is also very simple to use, which is nice, but it's not as effective as doing the melee. That might change later on when you go to level stuff up. And enemies will absolutely swarm you. You need to be ready for that. There is so many enemies in this, as we kind of seen in previous footage and trailers. But yes, that is true. They will just swamp you. There won't be one just stepping forward, you doing him in, and then another one steps forward. No, they do not give a shit. They will just rush you, so definitely be ready for that. This isn't a button mash friendly game though. You need to actually put time in and learn the systems, which again, I don't actually mind. There's so much to learn, but I can't wait to just be running around facing 20 enemies and just body slamming the shit out of them. But combat, guys, I am happy to say it just feels really good. Now, I did have certain expectations going in, but here's what actually shocked me in a good way. First, just how much there is to do, even in the first town. Like, I'm 6 hours in and I'm still finding new stuff. When you play any other game, 6 hours from when it's released is quite a chunk of time, but 6 hours in Crimson Desert is like a minute. That's how big the game is, so 6 hours isn't much at all from what I'm gathering. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. There's so much to do, so if that's your kind of vibe, you're going to absolutely love it as well. The jumping and traversal system with that target mechanic, some reviews said it was a bit finicky, and I was a bit concerned, but honestly, I've had no trouble with it at all. I think it works absolutely great. I don't mind it at all. That might just be me, but let me know how you're finding that if you've got the game already. But yeah, I just don't think it's that bad at all, really. The world. Now, this is absolutely beautiful, and the level of detail is insane. NPCs are really interactive in this game, which I absolutely love. and then I'm just standing there and a bird lands on my shoulder with a note for me to take. Awesome little details like that do make a difference. I was just shocked. I was just standing there for a minute, sipping my drink, and all of a sudden I see some dove land on my shoulder, and I was like, oh, I went to pet it, but no, it's got a little note for me. Absolutely brilliant. Side missions are properly in depth as well. They're not just fetch quests. Fishing is fun but challenging. Some of the dialogue as well is actually funny, and the voice acting is top notch. That I will say. I know a lot of the reviewers said that the voice acting is really good, and it is, but the dialogue, some of it's really funny. I'm not going to say what some of it says because YouTube might ban me for hate speech or something again, but honestly guys, the dialogue really does get you cracking up sometimes. The game is also challenging, and you do need to put the time in to explore and level up, because I tried doing that excavator drill boss and nope, got absolutely annihilated. I just reloaded back out, and now I'm just back in the main town and just leveling up my gear, getting resources. But I don't mind that, because when a game respects your time like that, that's absolutely fine. I know I've got to go back, level up, and then I can go and fight the boss. Look, the world just feels really immersive. That's what I love in an open world game, and if you do too, you are definitely going to be happy. But Crimson Desert isn't perfect though, and here's what frustrated me. The controls can be a bit confusing at first. You do get used to them with time, but many gamers don't have loads of hours to spend learning control schemes. So I will say, just be prepared that, yeah, you're going to need to put a bit of time and effort in to get used to the controls here. Try not to get too pissed off with that. It does kind of click after a few hours. It has with me now, but yeah, there is a lot of learning to do with that. And the onboarding, it is a pretty steep hill to climb. Like I said, 6 hours in and I'm still in the first area. I'm not saying it's the best 6 hours I've ever had in the opening of a game, but you just get that feeling that keep plucking away and it's going to make it worth my while. You can just kind of sense it with that. And interacting with items and people can be a bit hit or miss. You'll go up to something and you need to click square on it, but it just won't highlight. I had this issue with the trapdoor at the beginning, and it just would not let me open it. And I was getting kind of frustrated, but then I just walked away, come back, and just kind of got used to it. It's almost like there's some little like loading screen there where you just have to give it a few seconds for you to be enable you to be able to interact with it. Other than that, like, yeah, that's just a little bit of a gripe. And they really need to add control remapping options as well. I really do feel that's going to help out in the long run. That'll be a great quality of life and accessibility change. So hopefully Pearl Abyss can get working on that. The movement, it feels slightly janky. If I was to compare it to something, I would probably say a bit like AC Valhalla. So some players may hate that. Again, I didn't mind AC Valhalla. Yeah, there was a little bit of jankiness, but that's not enough to make me dislike a game. And the NPCs. Now, these can vanish really quickly after you kill them, which means you'll miss out on loot if you're not fast enough. Which isn't ideal, because loot is one of the main things of this game, and I have seen it online. A lot of people are moaning about that. So if you're surrounded by a couple of enemies, let's say 5 enemies, you take one guy down, but because they're straight on you, you need to then take the rest down. And by the time you finish taking them down, the first guy you took down, he's just sort of like vanished. He's like someone's just done a Thanos snap and he's just gone. And the loot isn't left behind. You miss out on the money or whatever other bits of loot they might drop, which isn't ideal. Again, hopefully that can be sorted as well. And if you have ADHD like me, getting used to the controls and menus is, yeah, it takes patience. So all in all, they're just my issues. They're not game breaking or anything, but just can be a bit overwhelming at times. So that's more on me. I absolutely understand that, but all I'm saying is don't get too overwhelmed or stressed out. Just take a chill pill, sit back and just go slow. Eventually you will get there. And also, this game doesn't mess around. It's not Dark Souls hard, but it is challenging. The game is like area level based, so if you go out of the starting area and start fighting enemies, it is a proper challenge. You need to make sure you can handle yourself. You need to explore, you need to level up and engage with the systems properly. There is no rushing this game. It forces you to actually play it and not speed through it. It will respect your time in that sense. Like I said, I tried doing the excavation side mission and I just got absolutely annihilated. And after about 3 tries, I was like, nope. Back to the first town we go, and now I'm just doing some other really cool side missions where I'm going to get some materials and level up and go to the blacksmith and just get better gear. Again, I don't mind because I know in the end it's going to make my life easier when I'm fighting higher enemies and doing these like mini bosses as well. And then moving on, should you buy it? What I would say is buy it now if you love immersive worlds with loads to do and discover. If you're on a PS5 Pro, it runs really well after those adjustments I did mention. And if you want something challenging and quite methodical, this will be right up your street. And also, if voice acting, the world detail and depth matter to you, again, this will be right up your street. And I would say wait for patches or a sale, especially if you're on base consoles and you absolutely need locked 60 FPS, you're not going to get that. If you don't like movement jank and that really bothers you, again, this might not be for you. But if you're not 100% sold right now, I would just wait, let them fix some things, and then definitely grab it on sale, because it will go on sale. But for me personally, I'm loving it. It's brilliant but demanding. 6 hours in Crimson Desert is basically playing for like 1 minute because it's that big. But I'm still in the first town and I'm totally hooked. But it won't be for everyone, and I think that is fair to say. But that's my honest take after 6 hours on the PS5 Pro. If you want more specific guides this week, like best starter builds, tips and tricks, like how to level fast, make sure you subscribe and like this video, please, guys, because it helps the channel out massively. And I'll be covering this game for a long time to come. But let me know down in the comments if you have got the game, how are you finding it, and what platform you've got it on. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.